This video is brought to you by SoccerPro.com. Be sure to visit SoccerPro.com for all the latest soccer gear at everyday low prices with no membership fees. Don't forget to use coupon code SR4U at checkout for $10 off a $75 purchase, plus free shipping within the US. Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com bringing you a traction test video. Today we're going to be comparing the Nike Mercurial Vapor 8 to the Nike GS Concept 2. The reason being is that the Vapor 8 has been known to have some excellent traction, and I can definitely say that it's one of the best shoes on the market if you are going to be playing on natural grass in terms of traction. Whereas the Nike GS Concept 2 features an all-new stud pattern that is loosely based off of the Vapor 8 stud pattern. So I wanted to see how they would compare as far as performance is concerned, and there's actually a much larger difference than I expected, which you'll see a little bit later in the video. As far as these traction test videos are concerned, the first one that I made was pretty well received. I'll leave an annotation on screen if you do want to check that out. Get an explanation as to why exactly we're doing these. And again, if you want to keep seeing them, make sure you support these videos. Leave a like on the video, and if you do want to see other comparisons, feel free to leave a comment down below suggesting what you would like to see. Whatever I see being suggested the most is going to be the next traction test video. As far as traction tests and why exactly we're doing them, it's because it's the only real thing that I can show you guys on video that's actually going to show some major performance differences from two shoes. Stuff like touches on the ball, passing, shooting, it looks the same no matter what shoe is on your feet. So while it's cool to see me shooting with a pair of Nike Mercurial Vapor 8s, for example, it doesn't actually show the performance of the shoe. Whereas when I take the footage of these shoes and do these traction tests and slow it down in super slow motion, you get a really good idea as to how these shoes are actually performing. Just keep in mind that I slow these videos down a lot, so for that reason I'm going to show you a few clips in full speed so you can get a better idea as to how fast this is actually happening and how slow the clips I'm showing you actually are. So here's a full speed clip of the Nike Mercurial Vapor 8. And here's a full speed clip of the Nike GS Concept 2. Alright, well now you can appreciate how fast this is actually happening and how slow I've kind of slowed it down to. So I'm going to kind of show you all the slow-mo clips that I have, all the different tests that I do, and kind of explain to you what's happening in these slow-mo clips. Just a couple things that you want to look out for. Look out for how easily the shoe grips into the ground, how much dirt it's digging up, how much movement is in the upper, such as rollover in either the forefoot or the outside of the shoe. And you also want to take note of how much maneuverability each shoe does have once the shoe is planted. Is it kind of sticking into the ground, or is it twisting a little bit as I push off? Just keep that in mind, look out for those things, and we'll move on to the slow-mo clips. The first drill is a 10-yard sprint towards the camera with a quick change of direction accelerating away. As you can see, the first three clips here are going to be of the Nike Mercurial Vapor 8. And you can see that there's barely any kind of rollover in the upper at all, which means that once you plant your foot, the upper has no movement. Your foot stays exactly in place as it is. And the Vapor 8 does this particular drill really, really well. Probably one of the best shoes on the market as far as just gripping in right on the first shot with barely any kind of movement in the ground at all. Once you plant that foot, it is stuck, and you can push off as hard as you want. The next clips I have here are of the Nike GS, and you can see once you plant your foot, it doesn't really grip. It kind of slides out. You can see how much dirt actually kind of came up from the ground just from that one plant, and that is partly due to the conical side of the studs. I think the studs are a little bit narrower on the Nike GS, so for that reason they don't dig in as well. They dig in, but they don't really grip the ground as much as it just rips it up. And you can see that in pretty much every clip here. Also keep in mind that the ground I'm in is a little bit softer, less than ideal firm ground conditions, but it really showcases the performance of a stud pattern. The next drill I have here is a 10-yard sprint towards the camera with a quick 90 degree cut right in front, so you can see me accelerating away. And you can see again, the Nike Mercurial Vapor 8 does this really well. There's a slight bit of slippage when you plant, but not much. As far as the Nike GS is concerned, this one does this drill really, really well. That nice conical edge on the stud allows for plenty of maneuverability once you plant your foot, allowing you to twist away really, really easily without any worry of slippage. The next one I have here is just a standing sprint. So this is what it would look like as I'm pushing off, trying to push off on that outside of the shoe as hard as possible, accelerating away. And again, you can see there's a little bit of movement in the Nike Mercurial Vapor 8, and that's simply because the synthetic upper on there is incredibly thin. But as far as traction and grip is concerned, it grips into the ground really well. There's a little bit of ripping up of the grass, but for the most part, you're pretty stuck in the ground. You can see there's a little bit of movement there, but not much at all. As far as the Nike GS is concerned, that polyester quarter they have going through the midfoot is incredibly stiff. Reminds me very much of the Nike Mercurial Superfly series, and there's almost no movement in the upper whatsoever, which gives the shoe a very, very responsive feel. And again, for the most part, the Nike GS does this drill really well because you have that little bit of conical stud. You can see there's a little bit more twisting in the forefoot going on. But that's enough of that, and I'll leave you to my final thoughts. Alright guys, that's it for my traction test between the Nike Mercurial Vapor 8 and the Nike GS Concept 2. As a whole, it's hard to beat out the Nike Mercurial Vapor 8 in terms of just providing straight up grip when you are pushing off. Just keep in mind that it doesn't have too much maneuverability once your foot is planted, whereas the Nike GS2 kind of has a good balance of grip and maneuverability once your foot is planted. So again, it kind of comes down more to personal preference rather than one is better than the other. But in terms of what I prefer, I definitely do like the Nike Mercurial Vapor 8. Just keep in mind that both of these stud patterns, the studs are a little bit longer, and because there are so few studs, they really do require you to play on softer natural grass playing surfaces in order to allow the studs to actually dig into the ground. Because if the ground is too hard and the studs aren't digging in, you're going to have some issues with discomfort, and they're overall just not going to perform all that well. But that's pretty much it as far as comparing these two shoes. Like I said, if you do have any other comparisons you would like to see, feel free to leave a comment down below, and if you could leave a like on the video, it would be greatly appreciated. If you're interested in getting more details as to how these shoes fit, feel, and perform, you can go ahead and check out the forum reviews located on my website, soccerreviewsforyou.com. You'll find a link down below in the description to that, so go ahead and check that out if that does interest you. Other than that guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks for watching.